Hi, sixth graders. We are still on our Unit 7 unit, which is Intro to Algebra and Equations. And this is our last video and our last lesson for this unit, which is solving two-step equations. Now we're going to put together everything we've learned and solve two-step equations. So here we go. Here are the steps for solving two-step equations. I would like you to write them down just like this. So first, we write the equation, which is exactly what we do for our one-step equations. Secondly, we draw our slide, which is exactly what we do. Then now we have to figure out what we're going to do first. So then we first need to get rid of our addition or subtraction, and then we undo, which is basically like getting rid of it, doing the opposite, multiplication or division. Then we solve, then we check. So it's just these two new ones, and it's just deciding what we're doing first and what we're doing second. So this is called isolating the variable. This is how we isolate it, which means get it alone. So add that to your steps of solving. So a two-step equation looks like this because there's two steps in solving. Before, like 2x equals 9, we just had one step. We divided both sides by 2, and then we had x alone, and then that was our answer. This time, we have to do two different things. Well, more than that, but two steps in order to get it. So we have 2x plus 3 equals 9. So write that down. We write the equation, we make our slide. Now we have to decide, so we always look at the side with the variable. We decide, are we going to get rid of the 3 first, or are we going to get rid of the 2? We always get rid of the addition or subtraction first, and then the multiplication or division. And I always say whichever number is least attached to the variable. The 3 is way less attached than the 2, so that tells me we're going to get rid of the 3 first. So now we do the same exact steps. Because it's being added by 3, we're gonna do the opposite, and we're gonna subtract both sides by 3. This is when it's really, really, really important to write it exactly underneath what you're doing. So we know that cancels out to 0, and now we bring down our 2x. Nothing has been done to our 2 or our x yet, so that stays the same. And then 9 minus 3 is 6. Because all we did was we subtracted the 3, but we can only subtract the 3 from the 3, not 2x, because I can't do 2x minus 3 because these are different. It's like taking oranges away from apples. They're different units, so we can't do that. So 2x equals 6. Now we have to do our next step, which is getting rid of our 2. X is being multiplied by 2, so we do the opposite. That cancels out, so we have x equals 3. This is when it's even more crucial and more important to check your work. So if x equals 3, I'm going to literally rewrite the equation exactly how it started. 2 times 3 plus 3 equals 9. 2 times 3 is 6. I do order of operations, so 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3 equals 9. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3. I get 9. That works, so x equals 3. Okay, let's do another one together. 2x plus 4 equals 10. So 2 times something, and then adding 4 equals 10. So we have to kind of backtrack and go backwards in reverse order to get to x. So 2x plus 4 equals 10. I get rid of my 4 first because that's my addition one. So I do minus 4 on both sides. 2x stays the same. That gets to 0. 10 minus 4 is 6. And then I end up with 2x equals 6 again. So divide both sides by 2. X equals 3. And then 2 times 3 plus 4 equals 10. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 equals 10, so that works. All right, let's write this one down and do this one together. 3x plus 1 equals 7. So here's my slide. I can see that my 1 is least attached. It's being added, so I subtract 1 on both sides. My 3x comes down because nothing has been done to that yet. 3x equals 6. Now I look at 3x and I can see x is being multiplied by 3, so I do the opposite. That cancels out. X equals 2. And now I'm going to pull it back into my equation. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 does equal 7, so that works. All right, 5 equals 2 plus 3x. Do my slide. This time I'm looking over here because my variable is over here. And 3x, I'm not going to touch that yet, so I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides because it was being added to 2. So now I want to get rid of that 2 first. 5 minus 2 is 3. That cancels out, so I have 3x alone. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3 because x is being multiplied by 3. 3 over 3 is 1. 3 over 3 is also 1, so it leaves me with x. 1 equals x. Remember, we flip it around, so the variable is on the left. Now I have 5 equals 2 plus 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. That works, so x equals 1. All right, let's do some more. 3x plus 2 equals 23. You try this one on your own and come back and check. I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides because that's the farthest away from x, the least attached. So 3x equals 21. Divide both sides by 3. So x equals 7. I'm going to check it. I would check it underneath, but I'm just going to check it right here. 3 times 7 plus 2 equals 23. 3 times 7 is 21. Plus 2 equals 23. So x equals 7. All right. Here's a little bit trickier with subtraction and negative. So I'm going to rewrite this. Negative 2y minus 7 equals 3. We'll do our slide. First, I see that it's being subtracted by 7, so I need to get rid of that first. So adding 7 is the opposite. That cancels out because it gets us to 0. I bring everything down, including my negative, and including the 2, and including the y. The negative goes with the 2 right now. Negative 2y equals 10. Now I can see that y is being multiplied by negative 2. So now I need to divide by negative 2. Negative 2 over negative 2 is just 1. So I have y alone. 10 over negative 2 is negative 5. So now let's put this in. Negative 2 times negative 5 minus 7 equals 3. Negative 2 times negative 5 is 10, because a negative times negative is positive. 10 minus 7 equals 3. So then y does equal negative 5. All right, we're going to do just a few more here. I would like to do, we're going to do this one, or we're going to do all of these, actually. I'm going to do a couple together, and then you're going to do some on your own. So let's look at this one. 4 plus 5r equals negative 11. Here's my slide. I subtract 4 on both sides. That cancels out. 5r, and then negative 11 minus 4 is the same as plus negative. That's going to get me to negative 15. I divide by 5 on both sides. R equals, I have negative 15 divided by 5 equals negative 3. We have to be careful that our negative signs don't get lost when we're transferring. So this negative 15 is really important to keep that negative, because 15 divided by 5 and negative 15 divided by 5 are different numbers. So now we have 4 plus 5 times negative 3 equals negative 11. 4 plus negative 15 equals negative 11. Yes, it checks. So there you go. All right, you do these three on your own. I'm going to go through them, and then we are done for this video. So 4x plus 5 equals 13. We subtract 5. 4x equals 8. Notice that I keep it nice and neat, and I'm rewriting every single step that I do. Now I'm doing divided by 2. So x equals, oh, why am I dividing it by 2? I'm dividing it by 4 because my mind went ahead of myself that x was going to equal 2. Divide by 4, so x equals 2. And then I can go 4 times 2 plus 5 equals 13. That's why checking matters. So if I would have accidentally did 4 divided by 2 and then had my answer equaled 4, I would quickly find out that that didn't work. And then I just have to go back up and redo it. But 4 times 2 is 8 plus 5 equals 13. So x does equal 2. And that's a good point. If you're checking it and your answer doesn't work, and you go back and check, you might have accidentally, like it's easy at first to accidentally, like, you know, up here think, oh, I have to subtract 4 and then divide by 5 or something like that. So it's okay, you know, to recognize, like that's why you want to check it, so that you can recognize if you went out of order. You have to go, like you have to do it in the correct order. I have to subtract 5 first and then divide by 4, otherwise it's not going to work. If I divide by 4 and then subtract 5, I'm going to get a completely different number. 8y plus 15 equals 71. So let's subtract 15, subtract 15. So 8y, and then 71, I know 71 minus 10 is 61, minus 5 is 56. So 8y equals 56 divided by 8, y equals 7. So 8 times 7 plus 15, does that equal 71? I know 56 plus 15 does equal 71, so y equals 7. Last one, negative 3n minus 8 equals 7. So I first have to get rid of this subtracting 8. So I'm going to do adding 8, not adding negative 8. I'm just literally changing the operation, and that's it. Subtracting 8 and adding 8 gets me to 0. So that's why I'm keeping the number the same, just changing the operation. My negative 3n stays exactly the same, so that gets brought down. Negative 3n equals 15. Divide both sides by negative 3. N equals negative 5. And then negative 3 times negative 5 minus 8 equals 7. So I have 15, because these together are 15, minus 8 equals 7. So N equals negative 5. All right, that is all that I have for you. So make sure you have all these notes. By now you probably have tons of notes for Unit 7, and that is awesome. That's exactly what you should have. I will see you in class.